Subscribe on Facebook. Please share. Please share.
Tune in to get it with God. Holding the money in the pockets. Nothing you can't do to stop us. As every degree take Thomas. All year round we the hottest. Sorry, I'm just being honest. We profit. Listen to hear all the latest. Muhammad Ali with the greatest. So down to earth like the pavement. So solid you can't replace us. We talking about all of your favorites. Reality, fantasy, friends versus family. Calculate, turn match state. Tune in. Hey, wait. We running.
Live?
Yeah, I think you're live. Your mic sound right?
Whatever.
Hold on, my bad. You think I would have this now talk like this, right? Yeah. We good? Yeah, I think we are.
We're running. You're running.
We running. What? This is episode 8. Is that 8-1?
Yep.
All right. Cool. Felt like we've been here forever. So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to We Runnin Radio. My name is Ian Turnbull, and I'm here with my triumvirate compadres. They always get me on this. So yeah, this is our 8th episode, and we have it's a sports heavy set of topics, guys.
It sure is.
We're going to talk about them.
Right down my alley.
Yeah, you like this, and then of course the GOAT. We're talking about the GOAT today. So,
well, we don't know if he's the GOAT.
He's the
we
GOAT.
We want to discuss that conversation.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah. So yeah, let's just jump into it. First, hold on, let me share. I need everybody.
It's already been shared.
Oh, I want to share mine. Sorry. But yeah, let's get into it. Racism for whites in the Virgin Islands. Or let me start by saying this is powered by First Fridays. Shameless plug. Powered by First Fridays. Check us out at Asar Lounge on December 7th. That's this Friday. Anything else that you guys want to plug?
I'm looking forward to that. And then we also gotta say, plug our social media.
Yeah.
And this will also be our last show on the radio.
Yeah. So this will be our last show on the radio.
For now. Yeah.
For now, we might come back.
Yeah.
But we felt we not that we feel anyway about the radio, but this is a digital age, and so in keeping with the digital age, we're gonna put our money where our mouth is, and kind of stick to our guns on the culture, what we know is the wave and what's the future of of this thing called podcasting and so forth. Yep. So the next episode, you won't see us in this building, and you won't hear us on your airwaves. You're going to actually be able to just see us here on Facebook Live. Follow us, stay tuned, and just ask us questions. And we're going to be a little bit more engaging at our new spot. We're not going to tell you that now, but just look out for it. So let's just follow us on We Runnin Radio. We Runnin, that's WERUNNIN. That's on Instagram, Facebook, also on YouTube, SoundCloud as well. So those are the platforms that you're going to be really sticking into and watching us on moving forward.
Absolutely. So let's jump into this topic.
Yeah,
Let's
jump into this topic. Racism for whites in the Virgin Islands. So of course, I'm not sure if you guys know by now. Every Thursday, me and these guys, we have a little gathering down at
don't tell them the location.
Restaurant, right? A restaurant, and we talk about different things. And a couple weeks back, like a month or two back, we was talking about DWW. We was confronted with shout out to Mike. I wouldn't plug his store. Come on, cover our costs. Plug his store, Mike. But DWW, driving while white. and we wanted to talk about it, you know, because we thought it was funny. You know, in the States, there's driving while black, or DWB, where people like I think it was who was that comedian? Chris Rock. Chris Rock got pulled over. He was in like the Calabasas or something like that. He was in like one of these high-end neighborhoods, and they pulled him over. And this probably happened to a ton of celebrities and stuff like that. Just because they're black, they get.
Obama.
It happens to everybody, man. You don't have to be a celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just putting that out there
yeah,
because of. Yeah, I'm just putting that out there because they're celebrities, and you would think that the cops who are pulling them over would
Know who they are.
know who they are, but they don't. Yeah,
My mistake.
Right. So here in the Virgin Islands, we do realize that there is some type of like, you know, driving while white. You know, we
Sounds so
one of our
preposterous.
one of our friends said that, you know, he hasn't been harassed, but more so has been pulled over. You know, not verbally harassed or anything, but like anytime he goes out, oh yeah, we pulling him over, he's drunk. You know? So is this really a thing, guys?
It's funny, of course we're all there at the same meeting when this happened,
Right.
and the guy, you already said his name, brought it up. Hey, well, it happens while I'm driving white. It's something that happens in the Virgin Islands. And of course the whole table started to laugh and that was a joke. And, you know, after that night, I actually did start doing some research, asking my Caucasian friends, if this is actually a true thing. And they said, yeah. And they said the worst, you know, you have these island beaters, whatever it may be. They said the worse your island beater is, the worse they'll pull you over while driving, while white, of course. And I think you remember, I don't know if you guys remember in the group chat, the next day, I actually witnessed it as well. Remember on Waterfront, where a guy just got pulled over.
Yeah.
I shared the picture with you guys. If you guys know, this is probably 3-4 months ago.
I literally was there at that. I was there.
You drove by as
I
well?
drove by
On
right
Waterfront?
there, yeah. So I saw it. Yeah.
I really can't say if it's a real thing. I don't want to put speculation on out there or whatever it may be, but I'm not sure.
You know what? Let's we gotta heat this thing up, man. We're ice cold right now. But I think that when you're used to being privileged,
Right.
and then you come to a situation where you're no longer privileged, and the police are no longer white, and they no longer talk the way that you talk, have the culture that you have, and they're looking at you different.
Right.
It's a different environment, you know what I mean? So is it the fact that you're used to privilege and now you don't have the privilege? Or is it that there's some racial issues going on in the Virgin Islands?
I think it actually might be both.
Exactly.
Like
And
I said,
I would agree with that.
the cops' colors are different, and of course the drivers are different as well, so vice versa. And
So-
maybe it's also some kind of payback.
Yo.
I don't know.
Yo,
We've
You
all-
went there, you took it there, okay.
We've all
You went
listened.
there. I'm proud of him, man.
Okay.
I'm messing with you.
I did
Chill.
it very lightly. But we all of us have briefly lived in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know you guys. I've experieed it.
I pulled over like 20
All the
times.
time.
I've experienced it. I actually remember this one time I was pulled over, and I was dating a Caucasian girl at the time. I actually don't know. I guess I'll put this out there as lightly as possible. And she's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I don't know. We're gonna have to find out." So, of course, there was no hey. No one walked up to the vehicle. They
Right.
basically just said, "Hey, get out the vehicle." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "What are you?"
What
of
are you
course,
doing?
So she was like, "Are you gonna get out the car?" Exactly. So
Yeah.
she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I gotta get out of this car. I don't want to get shot." And this is basically probably about 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
Actually, no, it's about 14 years ago. And I get out the car, blah, blah, blah. You know, they start, you know, hey, whatever it may be. And I guess my license was suspended. I guess I got a ticket. Basically, I had a speeding ticket. I paid the ticket on time, but they said I was supposed to take a course and my license, but they didn't give me a
So you
whatever
got
it may be.
points or whatever.
Yeah, but what's funny was the cop pulled me over, and you know the first thing he said to me? He's like, "Your license suspended." I was like, "Oh." He's like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Can't you see in your system what I did?" He's like, "Did you not pay your child support?" I was like,
Whoa.
"Whoa, sir."
Whoa.
I was like, "Sir, I don't have any kids. That can't be possible." I was like, "That's unnecessary."
Right.
Uh,
Low blow.
Yeah, it was, man. It was a little bit.
Low blow.
But I was like, "Gosh, man."
So there's a move. So I think right around the time when you probably experienced that, 2004. No,
Yeah, actually, yeah, 2004, 2005, yeah.
there was a movie called Crash.
Yeah.
And if you remember that movie, right?
Yeah.
That movie was about a white lady, a white guy, and a black lady, and the police officer pulled them over, and the police officer inappropriately touched the black lady, and the white guy was like, "Babe, it's gonna be all right."
No, he was black.
No,
he was black.
he's a
Her
white
husband
guy.
was black.
You're right. Her husband was black.
The cops
You're
were
so
white.
right. The cops were white, and the husband just sat back and let it ride.
Well, it's not that he just. You mean like
He let it ride, bro.
He could have got. I don't know.
He had to have let it
What could he have done? Get shot?
Wait. Whoa. Pause. Flag on the
right. You have to live to see
You
another
guys
day.
are really telling me a police officer pulls your wife over and they start to touch her inappropriately. You're not gonna kick up. You're not gonna say, "Yo."
You have to live to fight another day.
I mean,
You're not gonna call another cop. You're not gonna call the cops.
You have
Call
If you try-
911.
if you
What
try
are
to
you
call
gonna
a
do?
cop-
Beat him?
But you know
You're
what?
gonna beat him, and then your children are gonna wind up
If you
fatherless?
try to grab your phone, they might shoot you and say you grab a gun, man.
What do you do? I mean, of course, I would, yell and scream, but you go to punch him in the face. How is that gonna work out for you?
No, I'm not
You
saying
can barely,
that.
you can barely go grab your driver's license without
Before
catching a
you
couple
catch
slugs.
bullet. And you know what? This movie is pre social media, pre video capturing of everything.
Oh, so they're just gonna
You know,
dust
so-
you off
so
and then go to.
you
Yo, they beat Rodney King for almost a half an hour on video, and everybody got off. Everybody got off.
Yo,
They burned that city down.
facts.
I don't know if they had to burn the city
They burned
down,
that city down, man.
but geez, you beat a guy
You
on
still
camera.
smell it. You can still smell it.
Yo, he said you can smell the
Carbon
burn.
dioxide.
Yo,
But, I mean, hey man, I don't know. We'd have to do some research. We need to do some proper research about that. But it's possible that our white compadres could be feeling a little reverse racism,
right.
or it could just be a loss of the
The privilege.
privilege.
The privilege, right?
Because when you lose privilege, it feels like you're like, what's going
I
on?
feel like you're out on a boat by yourself.
I'm able to swerve and get out of my way and do what I want to do, but then that goes away, and you're the one who's the Billy Club E. It's rough, man. It's not easy.
Oh,
Let me
man.
speak to your supervisor.
Yo, he said the Billy Club E.
Yeah.
Yo, you stupid, man.
Yeah,
But
man. So,
but it is a thing. I think BWW definitely does occur here, and like you said, it's probably retribution. It's probably payback.
They probably seen that movie.
They probably seen Crash, and they're like, "You think you gonna get away, bro? Nope."
I think 3-6 Mafia actually won an Oscar from that movie too.
Oh yeah, they had a song.
There was a song that
Yeah, there was a song
about
about it. All right, so let's just jump into it. 'Cause we wanted to touch on that. We didn't want to dive into it, deep dive into it.
Hey, drive safely, folks.
Yeah, and
Just if you
and
have,
if you're not,
nothing
you don't have the
wrong with
right
your taillight,
melanin.
and
If you
you
don't
put-
have that right melanin, then just drive slow. Drive
just
slow.
everybody, man. Just obey the speed limit.
There's no
Okay.
speed limit signs up.
Okay, yeah. Stop at the stoplights
And signs.
and signs
Yeah.
where they are available, and
I was
just
gonna-
make
I
sure
was
you
gonna
got
make-
your tag right.
I was about to make a complaint to Matt, but I guess he's not the governor anymore. It's Matt's fault.
Yo,
but
you
he's not
cold,
the
bro.
governor.
So yeah, today is the birthday of a quite influential individual
Yes.
in the music business, movies, whatever you want to put him
How
in.
about movies?
Yeah, movies, man. He did Annie. He did that. I mean, it wasn't major,
I don't know about
but
movies.
No, no, no.
Movies. Everything else.
I don't think he's dabbled into that too much.
But let's introduce him.
the goat. The goat.
No.
The
no,
GOAT.
We cannot
Sean-
say that. No.
Sean Jay-Z Carter. Happy birthday. I know you're not listening to our
Who knows?
show.
It is. We're gonna push this on title.
We're gonna push this right on title. Gonna get a deal. Yeah, today's his birthday, and I am a crazy Jay-Z enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
Probably St. Thomas #1 stan for Jay-Z.
He's not the GOAT though. We have to.
He's
in
undoubtedly the GOAT.
He's in the conversation.
So
He has longevity. He has
longevity.
He has
Right.
longevity.
yeah, but all the other longevity people are in the ground. So
No, you got Nas. who actually roasted him like a rotisserie chicken when they had their battle.
That was back in the 90s.
He got
That was a long
flamed
time ago.
hard. Sorry, I had to just do that to you, but you went too far.
He
when
got
you said
hard
that.
broiled. He got hard broiled.
He got
That's a long
body.
time ago.
But in his hard broiling, who came out on top?
Well, that's why we
In
want,
life.
That's why we want
Oh.
to talk about
Who
him.
got the bad wife?
That's why we want to talk about it. He got flamed. Ether flamed him.
Yeah, right.
Ether flamed him. Okay.
Ether flamed him, and then he actually got ethered, and then Nas actually got ethered. So
Not really.
again, this goes back to greatest of all time. We're talking about, is Jay-Z really the greatest of all time? And
No.
when this topic came up,
Definitely not. No.
So this
No, you're
Tupac
not gonna-
lover
you're
over
not gonna
here
get that.
is
I
just
mean,
gonna run with
you
this.
crazy.
Right? But when this topic came up on the timeline, I didn't even say a word because I knew that I had to come correct. Because I know my fellow brother over here, Mr. Akil, is not anti-Jay, but he's the greatest of all time. Right?
I think it,
So
he
I
likes
need
giving
for him-
great of all time.
So
anyway.
I need, no, he'll call Tupac greatest of all time.
You damn.
Hands down.
You're right. You're right. All day. All
See
day
what I told
long.
you?
All day
Right.
long.
So here's the question for you, Pete, because we already have this angst against each other, right? It's art in my heart for this brother because he don't want to say Jay is the greatest of all time.
Can't say.
So what are your thoughts as Jay-Z greatest of all time? And then I'm going to explain why I think he is, and he's going to defend his point.
Correct. He's currently pending to be the greatest of all time. I think because I said longevity, but he's also his business sense. He's literally changed the game for hip hop, for the culture, and actually hip hop is probably the culture now, and it is actually is pop now. Everything you listen to, every Billboard chart, which really Billboards really don't matter anymore, but still, it's the way we judge music plays on radio. It's all about streaming now, but I think his business sense and what he's done. I think he's learned a lot in the game as well. I think his line on Meek Mill's new song was under What's Free was. I think he's talking about something. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember how he said worded it exactly, but I think he's learned how when people took money from him, he lost money.
You see,
in the
we
game
used to
earlier.
be happy that we're on Billboard. Now we look at Billboard.
Now I look at Billboard like he is you dumb.
Well, no, not. Well, I think more the part of his friends. They've lost millions, but they're still coming for him, kind of thing. But I think he was kind of meant himself as well. That in the beginning, people were making so much money off of him, and he's like, "Hey, why are these people getting a certain percentage?
Right.
I need to hold a whole percentage." Of course, he's learned. He's basically literally given us the blueprint, the whole hip hop culture. Hey, this is how you need to do it. This is how you need to own your own record label, push your own product, whatever it may be, and just own everything you own that you're basically part of. So he's pending to be the greatest of all time. Pending.
Yeah. So why Jay-Z? Let's talk about it, right?
I want to hear your point.
Jay-Z, in my opinion, we can have the argument about Jay-Z just based off of his business moves.
Right.
Lyrical ability and rapping, he's great. I can't give it to him from that '90s era. I got Pac and I got Big, I got some heavy hitters. But when we look at Jay-Z's entire career, and then we look at it in the context of rap, he can actually be considered the GOAT. Off of one, he has been given longevity. Had Tupac been given the same longevity, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But since
That's hypothetical.
That's all hypothetical, though.
yeah, but the fact that Jay-Z's a GOAT is a hypothetical question, isn't it? That's not real.
No,
It's
no,
objective.
actually,
No,
is.
it's backed by facts.
No.
It's facts.
It's
What?
backed by facts.
The fact. What's the fact?
Here's the facts.
The
Here's
money-
the facts.
the money he's
I'm
making.
50% of Duce and it's debt free. 100% of Ace of Spades worth half a beat. Rock Nation, half of that, that's my piece. 100% of Title to bust it up with my G.
So why in
That's
the
facts.
why in the
So that's
90s
his lyrics. As
why
well.
in the 90s when the Kings were around
Some
you
failure.
weren't to be why in the 90s when the Kings were around you were like a Pete. And then mind
was
you,
the youngest of all the
Jay-Z came
young.
out
He was
in
young.
'89. He came out before Pop. Hawaiian Soapy fame.
It doesn't matter how
Come
you
out
start.
in 89.
Hawaiian
Appeal.
Soapy
The
fame.
appeal. It doesn't
And
matter
then
how
he
you-
died down because the Kings were there.
It doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you
Yeah,
finish,
it's how you
my brother.
finish.
Exactly,
bro.
which is why we can go back and forth with this all day. So I'm giving Jay-Z his props that after the real kings died, you picked up the torch and ran with it, so I give you that.
So he's a
And
current
then
king.
we look, it's like, after MJ, Michael Jordan retires and you win the rings, okay?
Right.
The GOAT has retired. He's gone now, so yeah, now you're here. But while he was here, he wasn't winning no rings. And we have facts. We have the data to show that you came out before these guys, but when they came out, you were no rings, no W's. So I don't want to go, but I didn't want to chop your head off like that. I wanted to give. I'm trying to say is this.
Remember how MJ started as well.
Thank you.
Remember MJ didn't have anything without Scotty.
Okay, I give you that.
So Jay didn't have anything until he had the right person.
So MJ has to bow down to those guys before the Michael, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Well,
Those we could argue that
Right.
point.
How you start, but how you
finish.
Exactly.
Again.
But
so-
at least he was given the opportunity to finish. But the point that I'm trying to make is that Jay-Z's business moves are so powerful,
Correct.
so strong. He is like he's like the mogul. So in the argument of GOAT, I can put Jay-Z. One, he's got hard body lyrics. He is the culture to a certain degree.
Right.
And
Because everybody now trying to get married, everybody trying to be good to their lady.
he's showing up at
everybody.
He was showing up at
People
What? People have always been doing this.
No, people really doing it now, bro. People out here like, I'm committed. I love my wife.
Yeah.
I love my.
Everybody's looking for that Beyonce.
Everybody looking for Beyonce. Everybody's looking
that
for
dream
that
team.
family. Come on, man. Let's
Not
keep
just
it
the
a
family,
buck.
not just the family, but like them business moves.
You ain't gonna
that-
keep it 100.
Those business moves that Beyonce and Jay make, like
Exactly.
they're billion plus. He's showing up at the inauguration. President on the cell phone, hey Obama, I need those Cuba tickets. Clear it up so like when I get on the private jet, we know what's good.
Actually, no, he went to Cuba without Obama's permission.
Of course, Obama's gonna
And
deny that.
Obama
Of
was-
course, Obama was like, I didn't do that.
And Obama was
Please.
pissed, actually.
Yeah, he was actually upset because he actually
Politics.
made him look bad.
Politics.
But-
Am I
so-
gonna say,
So
yo,
can I
Eon?
defend myself?
Hold on, let me finish. Am I gonna say, yo, Eon? Yeah, I gave Eon the tickets. I'm gonna be like, yo, what you doing, man?
Right.
But of course, under the table, I done slipped you the
Yo.
tickets. Stop it.
Obama black, yeah. Obama black.
He's like-
Obama
he's
black.
like-
Obama
With
black.
the
Obama's
special
from
handshake.
Chicago, too.
With the special handshake, man. You know I got you. You know what's up.
He was like,
you know?
he's like, bring me back some cigars.
Let's bring me back some Cubans.
That's some sticks.
Okay?
So here's my defense, right? If you're saying that Jay-Z is in a conversation of GOAT, then tell me who's in that conversation with him. Now, I would give you all stripes on the mere fact that yes, Jay-Z lyrically there can be something said to other people being better than him, right? I would give you that because Jay-Z still looks up to Cool G Rap. There's still Rakim, there's still Big Daddy Kane. All of these guys that are felt to be better than him in lyrically, right? But they don't have a career that has spanned as long as his, right? So when I say GOAT, I am not talking about a flash in a moment of time. The problem is that the people that you're putting in the GOAT conversation they only had a flash in history. So therefore, they cannot be any comparison to somebody who's still and Pete's theory of he's becoming a GOAT. He's earning the rights of being named a GOAT. And I could agree with that to an extent. But when you see what he's doing in the culture, in the business sense, I'm trying to ask myself, who is doing that? Have you seen this before?
We have never seen.
And if you're not seeing it before, then
Ace of Spades.
Let's go.
Ace of Spades, half a billy. Title, my own.
100% mine.
Actually, not. Spring owns the percentage.
Yeah, you're right.
But
Right.
exactly what I'm saying. So Jay-Z, in my opinion, he gets into that conversation. We have to put Jay-Z in that conversation.
So who else are you putting in this conversation? Help me out.
Okay, so Jay-Z.
No, don't do that.
What?
Don't go
Oh,
start.
okay.
Who
Of
else are you
course.
putting in this conversation?
I gotta put Tupac in there.
It's a
Okay, in
flash in
terms of
history.
no, it's not a flash in history. Okay, because I was just at my house yesterday and people is banging his music. Still, that's one of the things
Where?
I love about.
Where was this?
It's in Savan.
They ready to go to war.
But still,
First off,
you mean to tell me you've been dead for over 22 years and still movies are being coming out about you? You still selling records?
I give you
You
that.
still influencing the culture and people are still talking your name? If Jay-Z died back in '96, nobody be talking about it because he had nothing.
Facts.
Brian's chiming in. Brian saying Eminem needs to be in the conversation as well.
Stop it. Brian needs to go to sleep.
But Tupac was basically
No,
he did everything, man. He was rapping,
And he was in movies.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
What was that?
I don't know. What he was doing.
But yeah, he was basically doing everything, man.
Yes. So but this is how I quantify it, right? I think Pac was
Your impact on culture. Yes.
I think Pac was one of our biggest impacts on the culture.
Yeah.
Mind you, the vice president, banished his album. He was political, shootouts with police officers. Like, he had a lot going on in his short span of time.
Right.
But I think that he was one of the realest rappers that we've ever seen, as well as, like, he put his pen on, like, real topics that affected the community. I think Jay-Z
he's only now doing that.
He's doing that, but his thing is the business aspect.
No, but
we've never seen these kind of business moves. Like, I'm owning my own record label. I'm owning the streaming service. I'm owning Duce. Who knows what imagine if Jay-Z has another 10, 15 years, 20 years. Who knows? He's probably gonna own a country. So in terms of the business aspect of
undeniable.
it's
And so with that, let's wrap this one up because we're gonna never. I'm a stand. You a stand on what you like, but you're right. Culturally, yes, I would say that Tupac has a stamp.
Oh, come on, man.
No.
Like when Tupac came out, right? If you look at it, right, in the early '90s, tattoos and taking your shirt off was never a big thing, you know.
Okay.
Go back and look at the time.
Nose rings.
Look at the
Nose
LL
ring.
and all
A
that
nose ring.
stuff.
A nose ring.
Pac came, started showing off tattoos and how I got shot and all of this stuff. Now what you see? Everybody got tattoos. Everybody talking about how they got shot and I survived this. All of that came from that dude and the movies and mixing. So, we don't want to sit there and I think Biggie has the lyricism, Pac has the real and the social, and Jay-Z has the lyrics as well as the business.
I'll go there with you.
So
I'll go there with you. All right, so I guess it's 1-1. 1-1.
He's pending really good.
pending. And I could give it to him. I have nothing against giving it to him.
He becomes president of the United States. It's done. It's all right. You're roasted. All right. So let's talk about another. Well, he's not influential, but someone in the culture who is making an impact. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt.
You should make an impact.
Culture.
That was supposed to be a
jail.
joke. That was a pun.
Oh,
he's making an impact.
I don't know if he's making it.
He kicked the dude.
He's messing up the culture.
He kicked the dude in the stomach.
That was not fun.
He kicked the woman, right?
He kicked the woman, so he made an impact. He's a dirtbag, and he's now begging to actually get back into the NFL. And I heard one of you guys said he's gonna get back in. So this is where I have a problem with the NFL. If you let Kareem Hunt back in, right?
Talk about
and
it.
Kaepernick can't get back in, and all he did was kneel.
Wow.
Then guess what? The NFL is basically saying that they're a misogynist group of pigs, and they're willing to watch a woman get beat, right?
Multiple times,
and let that person back in. But they don't let Kaepernick, who's fighting for injustices of racial biases, and let him get back in. So how is that now? Now you're the sports guy, so I was waiting to drop it this way.
Can you take that
drop
away?
the nuke, because last week you said
okay.
The other week you said
that's the nuclear bomb. I don't know how you come back from that one.
How is NFL going to
Hiroshima.
defend that?
This is very easy.
That's Hiroshima.
It all depends if you can still play. Kareem Hunt is still in the prime of his career. Okay, so basically the incident happened in February, but the video finally came out from TMZ on Friday.
Right.
So that's when they cut him. The Chiefs cut him, and then the NFL basically suspended him after that. Nobody claimed him after waivers.
Right.
Somebody's definitely going to pick up Kareem Hunt next year because he's still a good player. He's still in his prime. The difference between Kaepernick and him, Kaepernick had already hit his prime.
Right.
He was on the later end of his career. He had some injuries, and he wasn't the same. If he didn't have those injuries, if he was still the prime of his career, Kaepernick would have been in the NFL. He would have still been playing, this kneeling or not kneeling, whatever it may be. If you could play, they're gonna let you in. They're gonna let you play.
But don't you see that as a problem? Like
It
you guys
is.
are willing to
No.
guys are willing to accept a dude.
This is
all speculative if they let him back in, right?
okay.
So until he gets back in, you know,
Pete is
this
this has nothing to do with sports.
right.
Pete is
What
sinking
can you
like
do
a
for
Titanic.
me? If
It's
you,
business, yeah.
it's
I
his
got
business.
it. I got it.
This has nothing to do with. This is sports. Sure, this is
Yeah.
sports. We can see it, but
Women beating should not be a part of the business plan.
Yeah, man. That
I
should
don't
not
think
be.
they had that on their business plan.
That should
Yeah,
ROI.
Take that
That
was
out.
not part of their business plan at all.
And the thing is this dude has 3 physical altercations in the past year, allegedly, or whatever. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Allegedly, right? 3 alleged violent acts in a year, and then they kick you out, and you come right back, and then you just told me today this dude went on radio with no representation.
Yeah, he screwed himself, man.
That's a you want someone like that in the NFL, and so if the
a good
NFL
player.
if the NFL keeps Kareem Hunt, I'm not gonna go that far yet.
What do you mean?
The-
I was going to
the
say I was
numbers
not
are-
going to watch it ever again, but
Well, I know you
I
said
don't
you're
know.
banning NFL because your Giants suck, but
Yeah,
it's
I'm
whatever
banning
it
them
is.
for the season because they suck.
Well, first of all, let's talk about a couple things, right? When I heard about it, I was like, yo, this guy's got to get kicked out. It's terrible. And then I watched the video, and it seemed as though him and the she's a white woman. You have to say that because this
Oh
is
my
in the
goodness.
VI. This is America. We just had this conversation, right?
Beating while white?
No.
Whoa.
That, you know, when you're white in America and you get pulled over, rather than being white in the VI, or being black in America and being pulled over and being black in the VI. So there's a disparity between the Virgin Islands and America.
Right.
Just making that. So this is a white woman that he got into a conflict with in America.
Right.
And it looked as though they were both like kind of jarring each other back and forward as you watch the video. Like he's trying to be, somebody's holding him back, and then she's coming forward. Then they get into like a scuffle, and then I think she kind of pushes him, and he pushes her, and then she falls, and then they let him go, and then he comes up and he kicks her,
Right.
you know. And after I saw it, it just looked like kind of a tussle between them and like an argument, you know. It's not like she was running away, like, oh my God, and he came and grabbed her.
Regardless if she incited it.
No, I'm not saying that, you know, no. We have to start. Men and women are going to get into conflicts. This is not like a good or a bad thing. It's just reality, but it's just like,
You can't put your hand on a woman, man.
I've never said that you can or you can't. I said that people are going to get into conflicts.
Conflicts, right.
You know, it's like,
Right.
you're going to have car accidents. You're going to have, this is a part of the,
Right.
but I think that, you know, the degree is, I don't know who's the judge for that. I'm not the judge of it. You know, I thought that what happened was disgusting. It's terrible. But when we look at it and we compare it to a Ray Rice situation, where he just clean knocked out his wife in the elevator and dragged her lifeless body, we can't really compare those two.
Well,
in my opinion.
So that's a good.
Did he just knock this young white woman out and then pick her body up and drag her somewhere? You know?
Yeah, so that's a great segue though.
Well,
But-
it shows that we're visual people. Of course, we heard about this
And we're
incident.
numb.
We heard about this incident. Oh, this happened in February.
Yeah.
February.
yeah,
We're in December
November,
now,
right.
but we're visual people. We can hear it all we want, and it shows how we are in society with domestic violence.
Right.
We can hear it, but once you see a video, like the rape, once you see a video, oh my
Oh
gosh,
my God.
did he kick her?
He did it?
What I'm saying is that shows that
Oh,
what a
okay, you're
video
talking about-
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the Ray Rice situation, we heard about it, but once you saw that video, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah. that
Of
was
course, he's never stepped
crazy.
foot back in the NFL as well
Yeah.
because
Right.
he was at the end of his career as well. He was done. He probably had 2 more years left at most in his career. That's why he never got another job in the NFL.
Right.
But we're all visual people, man. Once you
But again, it goes back to my question, and it goes back to my point. The NFL it's almost like they're cooning for the dollar. They realize that this dude is a great player.
But
So
they've
is that the
always been
only
about the dollar.
reason?
But no,
Is that the only reason
he's technically
why?
not on a team right now, though.
Yeah, but
Will he be soon?
he,
Next year he
we're
will, I'm
thinking
sure.
that he will be back on the team.
He will be.
How? How
And,
can
and
you
he's a
put
good
somebody-
player.
The thing is this.
He had the most rushing yards
Okay,
last year.
now some
Jeez,
people
he
make
did.
it. Now,
Yes.
now some
I'm
people.
trying to tell you.
Now some people make mistakes, right? But we're talking about 3 alleged incidents.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, but I mean, okay. So how do we judge this, right? Should the NFL have a policy where any man puts his hand on a woman, regardless if the woman incites it or whatever the situation, we just clip you, or do we assess the situation and say that okay, she punched you in the face and you pushed her off for you?
Right.
How do we judge these things? Because some people, not everybody is under the thinking of, hey, if a woman hits me, I'm not going to do anything. Some people is like, you don't put your hands on me, then I won't put my hands on you.
right.
So you have there's different
There's
people in
guys
the
out
world
there.
and different kinds of thinking. So you can't just jumble everybody in one group. Everybody do this, unless, that's a rule that you have in place.
That's
Like,
right.
any of you football players get into
That's
a
where the
conflict with a
NFL
woman,
has to make a
you
stance.
walk away immediately, because if you touch this woman, we're going to fire you. Then we wouldn't even be having this conversation, because
Thank
you'd be fired.
And that's what I'm saying. The NFL, as an institution as big as it is, the amount of money that comes in, can they afford to straddle the fence on this?
Yes.
Now, granted,
How?
some people, some women might lie and say he hit me and he never hit.
Oh yes, we have
you know?
that. The
So you have
deception.
those instances. So I understand why you're saying what you're saying.
They can afford it.
They could afford to straddle the fence because of that. But if it's found out that a guy hit someone, a guy hit a lady, then bang, you gotta go.
But then
And
also,
there is
let me
no
ask you-
return.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
another question, Ian. What if a guy hits a guy? Is that okay? Just because he's a guy, you can hit a guy?
I hate you. Could we
I
talk
mean,
about something else now?
let's analyze this thing,
Well,
because is it a hands-off policy for every?
For
So
everybody,
okay,
right.
if you can punch and knock out a guy, and that's perfectly fine, and we won't,
We won't
fire
chastise
you.
for that.
But
right.
if you do it to a woman, then, how do we, because there's lawyers involved, there's a lot of
Right.
different things that go on where people would say, okay, well, this and that, and how do we put this together?
They technically made a rule after the Ray Rice incident because they kind of screwed it up big time. The suspension is supposed to be 4 to 6 games per a domestic violence situation.
Ezekiel Elliott also got into some domestic violence with his
Domestic
girl,
violence
and he
with his
got
girl,
suspended for 6 games as well.
So I'm reading an
He came
actual female follower, Loana. Shout out to Loana. She's one of our diehards. Shout out. I have a problem with a woman who feels they can attack a man, and men are supposed to just take it. I'm in no way for anyone putting their hands on anyone, but people are being provoked, and they are told they can't react.
Well, in America, if you're a man, you better keep your hands to yourself.
Yourself,
You're getting
bro.
lynched straight out the bat.
Straight out
but
the bat.
but I think that men physically, most of us were physically stronger than the women, so we need to hold
Restrain
back those,
ourselves.
restrain ourselves, but I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Some people
That
are
is a tough
human,
one.
and they're emotions, and you may push buttons, and
Can't do it, man.
it's a
Can't
terrible.
hit no lady.
Can't hit a lady, man.
Period.
Can't do it.
So homeboy got at least. I would have kicked him out for 2 years. 1 year is not
2
not-
years?
yeah, 2
NFL's a
years.
business. They're not going to do that.
2
Yeah.
years?
You are making us millions of. First of all, let's just get this out of the way. NFL doesn't give a damn about no woman being hit or no man hitting
Thank
and
you.
all of that.
Thank
we care
you.
about money.
Thank you.
Money.
That is all I wanted you to
Period.
understand. That they
Period.
don't care.
Stop it.
Yeah, and I'm
Stop.
not saying it because
Who care?
no, I'm saying it from the standpoint of this is why the NFL needs to get boycotted. This is why they have to.
Okay, I'll tell you right now.
Because they
the NFL,
wow.
right? Okay, everything the NFL or any sports agency does, any league, they're in the news because they are who they are.
They're the entity.
The NFL, their arrest rates compared to the United States, it's probably 0.25% of people who actually get arrested in the States versus the employees the NFL has. It's less than, it's 20 to 25%. But of course, it's out there because they're more popular, they're celebrities, whatever it may be.
So they're held to a bigger standard.
But Ben Roethlisberger came out and was saying stuff. It's like, oh my God, I would never have this guy date my daughter. But didn't he get charged on some rape stuff?
He has some accused.
He has
He was just some
accusations.
accusation. And then Ray Lewis be like, violence has no place in the NFL. And then he get into some shootout in Miami where 2 people died.
Atlanta. But I think he's
Atlanta?
I
Okay,
think-
sorry. It's different to Atlanta.
I think he's
The
a
hypocrisy
I think
of
he's a
these,
preacher
these
now.
Negroes.
And he's a preacher now.
He's changed his life. You see what you can happen with a second chance? You can turn your life around.
Yo,
Do good in the community.
he said you can change your life around.
You can.
So let's
That's
talk.
Hopefully, he can change his life around from this.
And then Kaepernick knees and he gets fired.
And he gets fired.
He
That's
did
my
not
point,
get
though.
fired, guys.
He just never got picked up, and which is why he has this amazing lawsuit that is coming, and it looks like he might be getting a serious bag, people. Serious bag.
if you need security,
Okay.
I can do security for you,
Okay, Cap.
I'll be the short
Runnin
security
radio.
guy.
You know
I'll
what I'm
be the
saying?
short security guy.
Should we get Cap for our
we
new
can do
show
all your
next week?
media.
We need to plug our show. We're going to get a new location next week.
Yeah.
We have a
Kaepernick,
special
Kaepernick.
guest.
Yep,
Can we
Kaepernick.
squeeze Cap in?
We can squeeze Cap in, man.
Let's-
We about that life.
I'll tweet at him.
So,
See what
The
let's
amount
talk
of
about
money,
second
the amount
chances.
of money Cap is about to get. I don't know if we can afford Cap. Okay, he's gonna start acting bougie real quick.
We do
Well,
it
you
before.
can-
We ain't kneeling no more. We got the bag.
So let's talk about this Wilder fight. Talking about second chances.
Furry got knocked out twice.
You like how I did that, right? Connected
Yeah,
dots,
real.
second chances. Right, so Wilder is a joke. It's a joke, man. He talked all that smack like for a minute.
You didn't
You
like
see
that?
what he did to the one press guy?
Yo,
Where
he
he
brought
was
up
like- he was
slavery,
like,
all
slavery.
Oh, I
kinda.
didn't see that.
Yeah, he was like, don't act like you don't know that we went through sufferation.
But I mean, we did. We
Blah,
did.
blah, blah, blah,
We
blah,
did.
blah, blah.
We
No, we did.
have
Hold
400 years
on.
of slavery.
We did, right? We
12 years
did.
of slavery.
And it's our fault. It's our fault.
We're not going to forget.
This is my Kanye rant. It's our fault. We was in
No,
slavery for 40
Kanye.
years.
Congress,
Right?
I guess, next week.
Slavery was a choice.
Slavery was a choice. That I actually I'm on that tip with Kanye.
Kanye.
Right? I'm right there with him.
Stop it.
But
we want to have a decent radio show. We don't, man.
Listen,
Don't go there.
Listen, that's my view, man. Y'all have y'all views. I have my view.
Don't sink us
I'm
with
a
you.
wear- I'm
Don't
a
take
wear
us
my
down
hat.
with you.
I'm gonna wear my hat. I'm gonna wear it.
These
and
are
I'ma
Ian
hold on
Turnbull's
it.
thoughts, not Akil Jacobs, not Pete.
Kanye is right to an extent, but Wilder is a joke, man. He talked all that smack, and then guess what? Bang! He couldn't even get this dude out in the 12 after knocking him out.
Well, he had like 30 pounds on Wilder.
Yeah, he did.
Plus, he shouldn't
Now
have
y'all
came.
making excuses. So folks, we're at unnamed bar. Not gonna plug them. I'm gonna talk to the owner.
You
See
want-
if we can get some.
Get some money first.
Right? But we're at the bar, and my one good friend, shout out to Sammy Salem. Sammy's like, no, this is a draw, and he said it. He said it the whole night.
Yeah.
He said it all night, and he was right. It was a draw, and it was a draw because nobody wants to hear this. Tyson Fury won the fight. If Tyson Fury did not, if Wilder did not knock out Tyson Fury in the 12th,
Knock him down.
knock him down, it would have went.
He knocked him down as well. It was 8. I
Yeah,
think,
he
right?
knocked him down
down
on
to
eight.
8th or 7th.
7th or 8th,
Yeah.
something like that.
We all watched the fight together, and we all know Fury won the fight. He had more hits.
Way
Wow.
more.
His footwork is
84 to
impeccable,
71
and his
overall.
boxing style is just ferocious.
Who, Fury?
Fury,
Yeah,
Flurry.
he's a provoking guy, man. He was fighting like a little kid. He's thinking his
His hand
tongue
behind
out.
his back.
Hand behind his
His
back.
style is impregnable.
We all know why this is a draw.
Remember where Mike said that? I'm just ferocious.
Boxing's desperate for fights.
They are desperate.
Yeah.
So they can't, while there's a...
Again, the bag.
So are these fights rigged? Because I'm not gonna lie, I was screaming that like a crazy man. I was
Of
like,
course it was
yo,
rigged.
this is a
not
rigged
draw.
fight. This is a rigged fight.
Fury
This is a
landed-
rigged fight.
I don't
Fury
think it
landed
was a
more,
rigged fight.
landed more. Okay, and also he got knocked down twice. Even if you get knocked down, the only thing you get is an extra point.
Yeah.
So it's not like you
That's
get
all
some
you get.
crazy amount of points.
Usually, historically in boxing, you have to beat the champion. They're not going to give it to you. You can't just come in and just beat you usually have to knock him out or beat him so bad that everybody's just like, you can't get bodied twice. You know what I'm saying? And just...
Yeah.
That's boxing. I don't
but-
like it.
But people.
Off of, if we just had a scorecard, like, yeah, Tyson Fury. But
you know who made boxing muddied up boxing in my opinion. And again, I know I'm gonna get
Don't do
like,
it.
some side eyes for this.
do it.
But Floyd Mayweather,
Oh,
he
God.
muddied it up.
He
Man.
beat the system.
The
man.
dodging.
He beat the system.
Nobody wants to see a dodger, man. We want to see some blows. We want heads to get knocked off. We want
Cash-
get on the
that's
ground.
why,
You're done.
that's why they
You're
can't
finished.
That's why they can't
And that's
give it to
why.
Tyson.
And that's why that match, it was a joke. It was a joke pretty much because they
Stop
fought.
it. Stop
Come
it.
on, was
Stop
a
it,
joke.
Elon,
And
stop
Wilder's definitely a joke.
That thing
You're,
was
you're in
lit.
the 12th.
Stop
You're
it.
in the 12th. No, it was a good fight. No,
Everybody was on their toes, jumping up and acting.
no, it was a good. It was a good.
That was me.
That was it. Yeah, because you hit like 12 people.
You hit an innocent bystander.
Innocent bystander. Bang, bang.
I was lit.
Did
I
he
was
just
lit.
hit me?
I'm not gonna lie. In the 12th round, when Tyson Fury got bodied, I lost it for a little while. I had to get my composure, but it was exciting.
And then he got.
It was exciting.
And then Fury got back up and punched him 2 times in his face and his mouth.
No, actually,
Sit down.
Fury was holding on for dear life. But then he did punch him twice. But the thing is this, right? We don't go to the fight to see a bunch of head movement and Dutch. We want to see somebody get knocked out. And if you are the knockoutee, then we rocking with you. We're not gonna let this guy with this terrible feet work and this terrible whatever this is come and take the championship. No, Wilder's
that
the
was
guy.
my point. No,
Wilder's more exciting.
Wilder's more exciting, right? But if you notice, his punches were defined.
Wilder's technique is
was
terrible. It's
wild.
awful. And I don't
He was chopping.
He's literally wild.
He's literally
That's why I
wild.
call him Wilder. Or is that just really his last name?
No, that's his name, Deontay Wilder.
Oh, okay. Look at his wild punches.
Yeah, you guys stupid. So let's jump into another topic. As you know, that one was fun. Shout out to Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Fury, you're my guy.
You know,
Next fight, I'm putting my money on
but
you.
hold on. And you know, shout out to Tyson Fury. You know, a year or two before this. Hold on, a year or two before this fight, he was extremely depressed. He wanted to commit suicide.
Right.
And he was going through some things, but he decided to continue, get some therapy, some help, and look what he's accomplished. And so he dedicates this to healing himself mentally and getting the help that he needed to get back in there. He was 400 pounds, he lost weight, and so he really has a really good story, you know.
He inspired me to fight because with all that flapping he had, I'm like, I could fight.
He was moving.
I got love
He was
handles. I could fight.
He had a keg, man.
Yeah, I could
So
fight.
you could imagine him at
That was a
400.
beer
He was
gun.
256.
Yeah.
Imagine him at 4.
Well, he
Yeah,
was
I
at
could
He
400
was at
pounds.
400,
Animal.
ready to commit suicide.
I didn't know
So
that story.
shout out to Tyson Fury, and I look
I'm happy.
forward. I don't look forward to the wild punches. Wilder needs to go back and get some technique. Just do it, man.
That peacock outfit, man, was tough, though.
And that crown.
Alright, so we're gonna get off that because I'm not gonna roast Wilder about this outfit that he was wearing. He's cooning out here. Moorings at Megan's Bay. So I recently saw an article on St. John's Source, basically speaking about I think it's DPNR. What is it? Hold on. Coastal Zone, right? Looking to allow for moorings to be placed at Megan's Bay. What do you guys think about that? Because basically what has happened in most recent years is that the BVI has taken the market share of charter boats, right? So these moorings are pretty much for day charter boats, and it would be a first at Megan's Bay. I think they're looking to put 4 to 8 permanent moorings for the exclusive use of transient and day charter boats in Megan's Bay. Shout out to Sean Pennington over at St. John's Source. That's where I'm getting this information and reading it verbatim. But you know, some people who were there, they recently had a town hall, a beach hall. You gotta love living in the VI, right? And some people who were in attendance was like, I am going to fight this. This is not gonna happen on my island. So how do we feel about that? Me as a millennial, I'm gonna state my point. I think that we need to put 15 moorings out there, as far as I'm concerned. I understand that we have to protect the ecosystem and so forth, but Megan's Bay is not one of those beaches that people are going to and saying, this is the treasure of the Virgin Islands. This place is so and
Actually,
luckily,
it actually
one of
is,
our-
but I think we take it for granted.
aesthetic, exactly.
Water's
so
trash though.
the water's trash. Thank you.
Oh
and
my
this is coming
gosh.
from
It is,
no.
it is,
So
it is.
so I'm gonna introduce
have a-
you.
we have a-
I'm gonna
no.
introduce you, Akil.
Hey, go,
Akil.
no, don't introduce me.
All right,
Wait.
but we have
Keep
someone
me
here who's
anonymous.
an expert, right?
On water.
Who on water?
Yes.
Who knows
Can
water?
I say a quick thing? So I was at Las Vegas night the other night, or Saturday night. You know, I was in line to get in the tramway, and some tourists were actually attending Las Vegas night, and they're chit chatting back and forth. Like, yeah, we went to Megan's Bay today. Oh my gosh, this is the best beach in the world.
But they
So-
probably swim in lake water.
Whoa. I think they lived in Colorado somewhere, but still.
Yeah, exactly.
They
Lake
appreciate the Megan's Bay,
Megan's
which we
Bay.
all should as well. But we take it for granted.
Yeah,
We see it since we're kids.
I don't think Megan's Bay is a bad beach. What I'm just saying is that there's an area in Megan's Bay where not much people go, right?
Yo, the water is the sand is gray.
See that?
It's not all that clear. Stop it, man. Koki, Lindquist.
Those are beaches.
You know.
So you might as well give Megan's Bay
Secret
to the
Harbor,
tourist season.
Trunk Bay,
there's
Cinnamon
3,000
Bay,
people.
Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
Choco.
Choco.
You're
Yeah.
gasping.
Yeah,
You're gasping.
Beautiful beaches.
Gasping for oxygen.
so we're talking about beaches that we know are undeniably beautiful, right? Versus a beach that was rated top 10 at one point. I don't know if it's still at the top 10.
Aesthetically, like
And
it's
aesthetically.
long. It has
But
the
I
palm
think-
trees. It's beautiful. It's in the
But I think that beach is. I think what people miss or don't realize is that beach has a lot of amenities. So when a beach like that has that much amenities, of course people are going to come to that beach. Of course people are going to frequent that beach. And that's the difference with that beach and other beaches. So if it already has amenities, why are we not using it and leveraging that beach for the tourist market? And letting Tortola beat us.
not just
And
beating
now-
us. They haven't just beaten us. It's just the race is so far gone. I don't
Yeah,
even know if
we-
we can
Yeah.
catch up.
Well, in the article, it's basically saying that in recent months,
Million.
because they've added so much taxes in Tortola, people are now
Looking back at
looking
St.
back at the Virgin Islands.
Ooh.
So
Talk about
so
it.
so
We
this
look
is
cute
why
again. We look cute
so
again.
this is why the moorings is
Yeah,
an
the moorings
this is
ready.
why the moorings is a play.
Okay, we're far behind in the yachting boating industry. We all know this. We've lost that business probably 10 plus years ago. The only issue I have with these moorings, I think, we can't have these boats too close to the beaches. You know when you go to Joe's, the boats are literally, some people just drive the boats right up in the sand. It's just, that's distasteful.
Yeah.
I think we need to have boats, like I think kind of has set up Water Island. I think Water Island has a couple. I'm not sure how many that you probably know.
Honeymoon Beach.
Honeymoon Beach has
I
a
mean-
couple. They're pretty far out, like 30 feet out.
Correct.
Like, it's a nice ways out.
Correct. I think we need to set up where it's like that, but there's a little bit of distance, and then if you want to come in, you can swim in or dinghy in, whatever it may be. We just can't have these boats just ramming up on our beautiful beaches here and just ruin everything.
It comes down to the bag, of course.
No, of course.
Is it about, do we want the money that the yachts, the tourists bring, or do we want to preserve the natural beauty?
We can do both.
Or do we need a balance in it? Which really is
A balance.
just a meaning that we want the bag. That's all. When people say we need a balance, no, you want the bag.
So on a busy cruise ship day, they're saying that 3,000 guests arrive, right, to Megan's Bay.
That's fantastic.
And what they're saying is that this is not going to be a situation where they're going to run up anchoring on the sand, right? They're going to ferry people in. So from the moorings, they're going to ferry people onto the land. If you want to jump off of the charter out there where the mooring is, that's cool. That's on you. But again, this goes back to what Akil was just saying.
Well, this is one of the issues.
Do we want the
man.
bag or do we want to just...
A lot of people, when they moor, they may dump the effluent, which is the poop, and all these things into the bay. You know, so there's an issue of that, which is pretty big. You know, this drops the water quality. It may make it unsafe. So you got 15 boats, and in the middle of the night, DPNR, and these people are not out there. Who's going to be out there watching the water at midnight?
All right.
That's what I was going to think as well.
Yeah.
This is going to raise the bill for DPNR because this is going to be more things for you guys to have to traffic and control.
I don't know about that. DPNR is just going to test the water and say, hey, it's good, it's bad.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
going to be bad for people who swimming and maybe sucking up some of this water in their mouth. You You know?
Oh man,
But I don't know. Peterborough. Let's talk about it. Peterborough. There's a lot of money on there. If they don't want that, they can kick up some dust. And you
They
know,
can
money
shut
is
that
power.
down. Money is power.
They probably want to put their boats there too, probably.
But there's a lot of yachts
Yeah.
that pull up out there, if you notice.
Yeah, they pull up on the other side, actually,
Yeah.
normally.
Yeah, they pull up in Megan's Bay, you know, and so, you know, it's a conversation to have. I think we have to find a middle ground, of course, and I think the idea of 4 to 8 moorings as a start, you know, and then ferrying people from the charter boat onto the sand as opposed to letting the boats pull up right onto the beach.
Exactly.
Then, 'cause
And-
now,
sorry,
the tax
go ahead.
association's probably gonna get involved with this now, because then they're gonna be losing money too. They're not gonna be able to drive. You said 3,000 people. They're not gonna be able to drive these people, and now these people become in boats. Whoa! What's going on here? They need to stay in their safaris and enjoy the ride.
And also, you
So
know,
now,
in St. John and in another, you know, the mooring situation is that you could be on the mooring during the day, and in the evening you have to leave.
it's lunch.
You know,
So
it
could
all
you just
depends.
do that?
You could do that too, which I would be I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because that means you're not going to spend the night there and dump your effluent and do what you
Right,
want,
right,
throw
right.
your chicken
Trying to
over
sneak,
the board,
right.
and you know, do all kind of stuff.
Stuff.
Because you have stories of people swimming next to poop in
And they
Brewers
don't
Bay
know.
and stuff like this.
Oh,
No,
wow.
my aunt, she was swimming in like toilet and toilet tissue and all kind of stuff. But she goes out there every day, so
Wow. Thank you for letting me know about that.
you know.
It's happening in other beaches.
It's
I'm
happening.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying now.
So we have to be careful.
All right, we got one last topic. Do we want to do this or I mean, we got 4 more minutes.
I think we just need some plugging.
I think we should talk about that new Meek Mills.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Hard body,
I'm
heavy.
right there. Oh my goodness, come on.
Hard body heaviness.
Who just did that to me?
I don't know, man. I think
Calling me wild.
I didn't think he had to put Drake on there. I think why you guys had this back and forth beef, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Drake is more powerful than him. He's a bigger artist. Why did you have to put Drake in your album? Like, you supposed what's up with that, man?
I think that Meek has been locked down in jail, confined. Remember, you said you turned a king to a slave, and I think that probably just thinking different, man. I don't know. When you beef with somebody and you want to harm them and stuff, and then you get locked away, you maybe read books, think like, hey, man, I'm literally a millionaire in America. I'm a young black millionaire.
Right.
Why am I beefing with a young black millionaire? Remember he said,
Right.
remember what he said in that verse? He said, kings killing kings is the KKK.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's a good move, man. Squash the beef, make money. Y'all could have been born in some project somewhere and you're selling crack and doing whatever kind of craziness, but the universe, God made it so that you're a rapper. You're terribly successful.
Right.
You're able to buy your kids coupes and Jaguars and Bentleys, big house. What? Are you serious? And what you want to do is beef with another millionaire. You know how dumb that is?
Yeah. But I mean, so I'm Team Meek all day.
Oh, no, I agree.
When Meek said what he
Drake
said,
bodied him though.
Drake bodied him back to back,
Okay. Murdered him.
killed him, right? Roasted him, right? But at the same time, Meek spoke real. He said, "Dude, you're right. Your raps are written, and in the age of hip hop, and I guess for us three in here, I know I can easily speak for you guys right now on this.
Go ahead.
Somebody not writing their own lyrics is a problem.
Death blow.
Death blow. And Drake don't write his own stuff.
Well, not a majority
Now,
of the time.
I'll
but-
tell you this. If today I found out that Jay-Z didn't write his own stuff,
Ooh.
no go.
Ooh.
Same thing with Tupac.
You're
man.
done.
Same thing. I can't
respect
I can't
it.
listen to
I
the
can't
lyrics
listen
the
to
same.
you the
I
same.
heard Jada Pinkett was writing some rhymes for Tupac.
So I just got the word that we
I
could
like
take
that.
we could take 10 more minutes because this is our last show
All right, no
on
problem.
WUVI. If you
That's
guys are
right
cool
on.
with that, we actually have one more topic that we could actually get into. But let's finish on the Meek Mill. So I wanted to ask you guys this question live on air. Do you guys think that his album is the best album of the year? Like let's talk about best albums of the year, because when I listen to Meek's album, because of the content of it and who's presenting it, I actually put him in the contest for best album. of the year.
And Meek had a solid.
It's a solid album.
Solid.
I don't think so, man. I think
Solid.
I think he put too much R&B songs on there. To be honest,
What?
he put too many
It's
R&B
like-
songs.
It's
There's
like
like too many.
You know, did you hear that verse when
R&B.
he said that the casket don't have too much leg room? Is
Yeah.
that cool?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, are you serious?
I don't.
Bars.
Bars.
I don't need R&B songs.
Meek, oodles and noodles, baby. Oh
Remember,
my Jesus.
Pete is just strictly trap music.
No, no,
Trap.
no, no,
That
no.
Jeep gotta be blasting
He
nothing
like
but
Lil
trap.
Pump. He like Lil Pump.
Okay.
I have not listened to Lil Pump one day in my life. Actually, I'm a big fan of Meek Mill.
if
His
he's
last
not
album,
cooking up
his
dope
last
in
two
a
albums
Uzi.
sucked.
Yeah.
His first two are good. I
Right.
think this is probably his fifth now, but I don't know, man. You're saying top record of the year. I think it's new.
No. So what I'm saying is,
It's not
he's
right.
in the conversation, right?
Yeah.
I am not saying that his album is the best album of the year, but being fair,
No.
and the content of that album, he is speaking about some real stuff, and he's still speaking about that street gutter. He's talking,
I love it.
If
I
Jay-Z
love
was
it.
not on there, you would not be saying that.
dude. If Jay wasn't on there, I would have said the same thing. And the reason being is because I don't listen to what's free. I listen to Trauma. He's using old school beat. He used Dead Presidents on one record. He used
Beef from Biggie.
what's Beef. He used another record from Mobb Deep. He's using these. He used Beyonce's one song with LMA. Y'all didn't even listen to that.
I did.
So the
I did not
production,
like it.
the production on
It's
this
crazy.
album is ridiculous. And
But
I
the
know
bars.
that what's his name
The
actually
bars.
did he did the engineering. Jay-Z's engineer. He did
Young
the mixing.
Guru.
Young Guru did the engineering on this album. You think Guru's gonna mix down a Meek Mill album if he didn't feel that this here could potentially be one of the three albums? Name your top three albums of the year, and I guarantee you, when you listen to Meek enough, you're gonna say, you know what? Now I'm not gonna say that it's a classic, because I think that's a coonish thing that people do. When people like a week out, they're like, oh, classic album, oh my lord. Like, come on. Like, you gotta really listen to an album. And people don't do that no more. People be skimming through.
I think, you know how I judge an album
What?
most times? If I can listen it all the way through without pressing the next song, basically.
And I've done that with Meek Mill.
That's when I did, except for the R&B stuff, man. I don't hear that nonsense, man.
He wants strictly gun talk.
Strictly gun talk.
Gun talk.
I want to hear some
Crack.
gunshots.
That's if it's
What up?
with heavy bass.
If I want to listen to R&B,
Heavy bass.
if I want to listen to R&B, I'm gonna look up some Boys to Men stuff, whatever it may be. But I do not want to hear that nonsense.
Yeah, because you're right.
He took it there.
You can't listen to Trey Songz. You can't listen to Chris Brown now for R&B. These dudes are singing
But yeah.
like gangsters.
Correct.
Yeah, Scorpion was hard. Meek has a hard album. Them prison.
So, yeah,
when you're sitting
this is a
down,
good one.
when you're sitting in a jail cell.
Meek album versus Drake album.
No.
What's better?
Meeks, but the reason why
Thank you.
Drake-
Whoa.
the reason why-
Drake has some hard body
this
stuff.
was
on
Drake's last album for his deal, so he just had to push something out. And actually, it was pretty decent for just pushing something
top. I don't know
out.
if it was pushed out, Pete. Man. He gave you 24
20
songs.
Exactly.
double songs.
That's what I'm trying to show you what he's capable of. He's got pricing and so much stuff.
No, Drake's album was hard. Man. He just doesn't
Exactly.
write stuff, so I can't.
He had to
I
drop.
can't take
Pusha
shit,
T.
bro.
He's
Pusha
off
T?
Young Money now.
Pusha
no,
T?
No, he had eight
Pusha T?
songs. He had 8
You're
songs.
not putting Pusha T in
8
album
songs.
of the year?
What was 8? Was it 8 songs or 6 songs?
Come on.
And you, there
It
was
was, it was 8.
All right, let's
It was
go.
just-
and it was only like 4 songs that
Let's
were
just
really
get
good.
over this.
And he knows he puts the songs for like 2 minutes and
So
continues
who
to make it hot.
you put in the album of the year?
Sheck West, Mudboy.
Mudboy.
Yeah,
Alright,
Done.
Who else?
game over.
Was Sheck West
Migos?
Mudboy? That's it? That's your number one album for the
Migos?
year.
That's the album of the year. No, for Migos.
No
No.
pump.
I've never heard of Lil Pump. I've never put that on my phone before. No.
You're not Yachtying? You're not
I don't
Yachty?
care for Lil Yachty.
I'm not gonna lie, I like Kodak Black though.
Kodak Black is fire.
I
Again,
don't know.
these are dudes
I-
who speak
I
gutter
I
rap.
can't listen to Kodak Black, man. It gives me like a headache. It gives me a headache. It's kind of annoying.
It's annoying a little bit.
You know, you have an annoying little sister. That's what it sounds like when you
He
feel
speaks-
like
he speaks
Black.
fire, though.
He speaks for
Yeah,
the
he
streets.
speaks for the streets, though.
None of us are in the streets. What are you talking about?
Very
I'm in the
true.
streets every day. I walk outside. Alright, let's get serious, man. Last topic for the night. When you're friends with a couple and they break up, which side do you take? So this one is quite entertaining. I think this one is let's talk about it. Let's say for instance you have some friends, they're a couple or whatever, and then they break up. Whose side do you take? What do you do in a situation like that? So you're friends with the husband and the husband, or the wife and the wife. I'm joking. So, I'm just going over based off the culture that we
The
got
one who
right
didn't
now.
cheat.
Yeah. If you're friends with the husband or you're friends with the wife, right? You're friends with both of them, right? And they break up. What are you to do in a situation like that? I actually want to hear from some people.
There's some different scenarios. It all depends. Say I'm the friend. So say it's my old lady's friend, and I met them through her. I guess of course I know I got to cut off the relationship because she's saying you got to cut it off. You got to cut it off.
Right.
But if it was my friend and I brought that friendship to our friendship,
Right.
I'm gonna keep the friendship with whoever I brought that friendship
that
in
friendship in,
because
right.
it's loyalty.
Right,
but
right.
it also depends what the person did for them to. Because the relationship's gonna end, everyone's gonna have their sides, but we really don't know what happened in that relationship to say, hey, whatever it may be, and maybe I have to stay friends with both. Who knows?
So Dara, shout out to Dara. She said none, easy. She said talk to both and tell them don't even think about making me choose.
That's a
Be
perfect
real with
world.
both. And that is what I think should
That's
be
a
the
perfect
answer.
world that doesn't exist.
But
That doesn't exist.
So here's my point.
You have to choose.
So here's my point on
It's
it.
like you got.
Here's my point on it. Right?
Mm,
If I'm friends with both people, right, and they break up and both committed sins of atrocity for this relationship to come to an end, then guess what? Both of y'all better suck it up, right? And allow me. Allow. That's a local slang. Allow.
okay,
Allow
go.
me to be friends with each other. Is basically what I'm saying.
No.
You gotta
no,
pick
no,
sides.
no.
You gotta pick sides.
It's the code of the streets.
It's code of the streets.
It's like if you're
Roles
if
before.
you got no. If you have beef, these
I'm
two.
just-
Don't
I'm
get
just
fired.
saying.
Don't get fired.
Let's
Not
be,
sure,
let's be,
we
we
just
gotta,
don't.
we gotta be honest, right?
Right.
Let's be honest. Right? So gotta bring it back, right? These two guys are beefing with each other,
Right.
right? And you're friends,
Right.
and they hate each other or whatever. You know what I mean? You liable to get crossed in the crossfire, and that's the same thing with the man and the woman.
Doesn't matter.
We like to say, "Hey, everybody, just get along in the kumbaya."
Kumbaya,
No,
right.
they bucking shots.
They
If they're
bucking
bucking
shots.
shots at each other, and you're like,
Oh wow.
you know,
Don't stop shooting.
stop shooting.
Stop.
I'm with her.
Somebody's
You
gonna get
getting
shot.
You getting
Afraid to
shot.
get yourself involved, get dirty.
I get
So-
it. I get it.
But the thing is, what the twist is, right?
Mhm.
Let's say that in the situation between the man, the wife cheated on the husband,
Right. Right.
and that kind of destroyed the relationship.
Right.
You know, based off of the wrongdoing, should you choose sides?
So
like, what would you do in that situation?
So yeah. So if one person cheated, right? If one person cheated or did something, right? Then what do you do?
Okay,
I think you go with the person who didn't do, who wasn't a scum.
It all depends who came into the friendship with.
Right.
Okay, so I remember a scenario a while back where I was briefly friends with the girl, and I became closer to the guy through her.
Right.
But then he cheated.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You have to go back with the girl.
Yeah. Even though me and him became more closer because our friendship, of course, we're guys and whatever it may be, but yeah, I literally had to move my friendship back to the person I knew from the start, and the girl, even though we weren't really close, whatever it may be, but yeah, I actually took some heat for it as well, man. I say names, but whatever it may be. But yeah.
Yeah, but I can see your point on that. I like I said again, I'm of the thought process that
I think
Yes.
everybody clicks up in these kinds of situations.
people are always gonna pick sides based off of whatever.
Deep line is
They're gonna
usually
be a
drawn.
deep line is drawn. Exactly.
You can't. I like what Doris says. You'd be like, "Don't you dare tell me to choose
Who to choose, yeah.
But this is,
This is World War I.
It's-
World War IV.
unfortunately,
World War III.
breakups and these things, they become like war.
Yeah.
There's strategic elements of destruction and all kinds of foolishness taking place.
But of course, they're both fighting for you too, to be your friend.
Fighting for your affection.
They
huh?
want to
You
keep
know?
your friendship.
And then, usually a friend comes to you and draws like a deep line. You better choose either this side or that. There's no in between.
That to me, they're not my friend.
Exactly.
you're not my friend.
Exactly.
If someone puts you in a position where a deep line has to be drawn and you have to make a choice, knowing a situation, you are not my friend.
Yep.
Well,
Facts.
You getting shot?
Well then bang.
Ouch. Ouch.
I'll put a gauze on my wound and walk away.
Ouch.
But you know, wow, we're 1 minute out, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
We're good. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Who we want to talk about?
I'm gonna do a plug.
Who's a plug?
Spotlight for the week is some UVI students.
Okay.
They actually came in. Students winning the second annual Hewlett Packard HBCU Business Challenge
that is very
competition.
true.
And that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
while
so
back.
congrats to them. These UVI students, which we are at the
They
UVI
won.
studio. So yeah,
They won.
congrats,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Shout out to UVI students. They're low key. They're out here moving, and a lot of people don't, they don't know. Cause a lot of people don't pay attention because the information is out there. But UVI students, they're quite smart and influential and making some moves out here.
Yeah, quite a them have a
So-
couple shows in the radio station as well. Doing a good job.
Big up to UBI. Big up to the staff.
Thank you for having us for 2 months.
Yeah, thank you for having us, UVI, WUVI Radio. I don't know what the young lady's name. She's always here.
I don't know
Oh my
either.
gosh, she's always here every time we need her.
But this is family, man. We can always come back.
Yeah,
She
we'll
was
probably
the
come
best.
back.
She was the best.
Gonna spread our wings for a little while, but then we'll always come back.
Go do this digital thing. Again, big plug to First Fridays. They're powering this show. That's this weekend over at Azar Lounge.
What number did they call to make VIP reservations?
I'm not gonna do that. You're not right here, no. Because then they right here. Follow us again. This is continued. Next week we have a big guest. You thought we was joking about this big guest. We have a big guest that's actually gonna sit with us.
Tune in.
New location.
Next week, new location.
We ain't playing, man.
We Runnin, WERUNNIN. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube as well, and then SoundCloud as well.
All
So
right.
thank you again for listening to us, and those of us, I see a lot of happy faces and all that type of stuff on our Facebook Live. So we'll see you guys next week. All right.